Hello everybody, welcome to the Off-Road Show. My name is Carlos, and it is always a huge pleasure to have you guys here. Today we have a very interesting comparison between Bruce's Suzuki Jimny and Luke's Toyota Land Cruiser, as both of them meet to drive their cars on some very difficult hills. We start with Luke and his Land Cruiser as he makes his way up on the left side of this hill. This side is known for being the most difficult one because the soil is loose and soft, a true challenge for every off-road driver. This first section of the track didn't seem to represent a challenge at all for the Land Cruiser. Let's see how Bruce and Jim will go on that one. We can see that our favorite duo is having some trouble with traction. Their car uses much narrower tires, and that might be the reason why they are struggling for traction. They have to reverse, try to increase the speed to create more momentum, and hopefully they will make their way to the top. After reversing a couple of times, I think they found the correct line and also the correct gear to keep the car moving up, using all of the torque their engine can produce. They are now going for a second run on the same spot, just to check if they will have the same results. We can see them going slow, because the aim of this challenge is to show how well each car can transfer power to the ground. Key elements for this task are the transmission, suspension, and tires. They have to work in perfect synchrony and with the correct setup to ensure that maximum torque is transferred to the wheels and ultimately to the ground. Bruce and Jim had a little bit of trouble once again, but this time at the base of the hill. After that first moment, they made their way up a lot better than on the first run. Luke is now starting to climb on the right side of the mountain. It should be easier this time because the soil here is compacted, offering a much better surface. But like I always say, when driving off-road, we should always expect the unexpected. The car slided a bit to the right, but then the tires regained traction and we can see that he is making his way smoothly now. A bit of tire slippage at the top again. He has to reverse and choose another line, maybe going a bit more to the right. Luke made the climb without any major problems. Let's see how Bruce and Jim will do that. They are also sliding a bit to the right, but they seem to be doing okay. It seems like they have encountered a problem. They are probably stuck in a small dip. They try to reverse and choose another approach, but the car is still struggling. I am really starting to think that those narrow tires are playing an important role here. We can also notice that the tread on their tires is a lot less aggressive than the ones on Luke's Land Cruiser. Those tires from the 50s clearly don't have the same technology of the off-road tires we can find nowadays. After some bumps along the way, Bruce and Jim made their way to the top too. This is a simple part of the course. Drivers just have to make their way out of this hole, and that's pretty much it. As we could see, no problem at all for Luke and his Toyota. I don't really expect to see any problems here, but let's find out. As I expected, Bruce and Jim did really well too. They are now approaching a very small hill, but this one is known for causing a lot of trouble to many off-road drivers. During the dry season, the soil was very loose, and we even saw Luke getting a bit stuck there some weeks ago. But after the heavy rain we had some days ago, the soil got a little more compacted, and this obstacle was not a problem for Luke this time. It is likely that our little Jimny will go up this hill easily too. Their car has more than enough power for this one. They are going slow and seem to be carefully choosing the best line. Wow, it seems like they are suffering again. Once more, they had to reverse and try to increase their speed. Maybe Bruce is just approaching the obstacles a bit slower than he should. A little bit of a transition moment as these two beautiful and legendary off-road machines make their way to the next and final obstacle of the day. And what is your opinion so far? Who do you think is doing better on this off-road challenge? Luke and his Land Cruiser or Bruce and Jim and their small Suzuki Jimny? Leave your opinion on the comments and consider subscribing to this channel so that we can keep creating content like that. The last part of this trail is probably also the most challenging one. It is a very steep hill that will really test the ability of our drivers and the power of their cars. Once again, Luke and his Land Cruiser had no problems on this hill. Bruce and Jim are approaching this obstacle with care and precision, but will it be enough to make them reach the top? Their car is doing well so far, but there is a big rock at the top of the hill, and I think that could be a problem. We can see them having the same problem they had before, traction. They have no other option but reverse and try again, just like they did in many of the obstacles we saw before. They have to be very careful now because this hill is very narrow. We can see them using all of their skills, carefully assessing the situation and choosing the best option to overcome this challenge. I have seen many videos of these two guys, so I am sure they will reach the top. I hope you guys enjoyed watching our show, and don't forget to subscribe.